So today I will be sharing my Think Aloud for grade 10 personal safety and injury prevention with a specific focus on mental health and the factors that enhance. So I would begin by telling my students the title of the article, which is Katie Couric posts no makeup selfie to buck the Snapchat dysmorphia trend. So then I would help my students make predictions by giving my own prediction, which is from this title, I predict this will be talking about mental health and the effect of Snapchat on mental health. I would then ask my students what they maybe think the article is about and do either a quick think, pair, share or just have them say it to the class. So then I would continue with the actual article. These days, it's near impossible not to be affected by social media trends and tools. One tool that's got people particularly excited is Snapchat filters, which enables a user to make themselves appear as flawless, stylized version of themselves. People are loving the filters so much, in fact, some are attempting to physically change their faces to match what they see on the screen. A recent article in the Journal of American Medical Association, or JAMA, published on August 2nd, reports a rise in people seeking plastic surgery for this reason. The phenomenon has been dubbed Snapchat dysmorphia. The pervasiveness of these filtered images can take a toll on one's self-esteem, make one feel inadequate for not looking a certain way in the real world, and may even act as a trigger and lead to body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. It says in an article written by Sasruthi Rajanala, Myra Maimone, and Neelam Bashi. When I read this section, I see all kinds of photos of people with the Snapchat flower crowns. Even when people post permanent photos on Instagram, they use this filter. The more they post the filtered photos, the more difficult I imagine posting a non-filtered selfie becomes. People will get stuck in a cycle of posting filtered selfies because they don't want to wreck their Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever other social media site aesthetic. This is the point in society when we need to realize that filters aren't real and we are beautiful the way we are. So that was me trying to help the students develop images. Then, depending on the class and their enthusiasm and engagement levels, you could either have them think to themselves what they see from that section, or you could have them share with the class. And then I would continue. It's estimated BDD affects 1 in 50 people, and the most current data shows that 55% of surgeons have patients requesting surgery to improve their appearance in selfies. Furthermore, there are more patients showing their plastic surgery results on social media. After reading about Snapchat dysmorphia, Katie Couric took to social media to share her own no makeup selfie to buck the trend. And this is what she posted under her photo. An article in the latest issue of JAMA says plastic surgeons are increasingly getting requests to make people look as good as they do in their selfies after they edit them. Researchers call it Snapchat dysmorphia, and they say it is having a negative impact on self-esteem and can even trigger body dysmorphic disorder, which is classified as a mental illness. Clearly, I am bucking that trend. I also have a terrible sore throat. Hashtag Happy Monday. So then I would move into sharing analogies with the students. So I could say something like, imagine using filters so much that you no longer like the way you look. Imagine that you want to look like a filter, which are designed as unachievable for people. With evolution, our bodies have changed from primates to the way we are now. With plastic surgery, there is no evolution, just forced change. Imagine having a newborn child in a world of plastic surgery filtered people. Would the child get plastic surgery at a young age? Would parents force their child to look like a filter? Most parents believe their child is perfect when they are born. So at what point does this change? Couric's post has people discussing the impact of social media on society and why it's so important we combat harmful messages and instead spread messages of self-love and body positivity. Now, of course, these analogies are a little far-fetched, they're a little over the top, but that is kind of to have a middle ground with students where there's the over the top, there's the kind of reality, and then they can kind of decide where on that spectrum they feel in relation to this article. And then I would continue. The JAMA article reaffirms this notion and describes Snapchat dysmorphia as an alarming trend because online selfies will often present an unattainable look which will likely leave patients dissatisfied with their surgery. In such cases, the choice of action is not surgery, which will not improve or may even worsen underlying BDD if It says in the article, the typical treatment consists of psychological interventions such as cognitive behavioral therapy, as well as medications. Fasci explains looking at your true self in the mirror compared to an edited selfie can bring conflicting emotions, which could potentially lead to Snapchat dysmorphia. It can bring feelings of sadness, and then if one really develops this disorder, that sadness clearly progresses to something that can be dangerous and alarming. So then I would bring in some just like monitoring of comprehension by saying, so if people are developing mental illnesses from Snapchat, should we get rid of it or just use Snapchat with caution? I don't really know how to change the way society portrays people and therefore affects the way people see themselves. If this can be categorized into a mental illness, why are there not more treatment options for people? And should social media add mental health disclaimers on their terms of agreement? I don't really know what to do to change this trend in society. So this could get a class discussion going on this point. Just quickly make sure that when you are having the class discussion, it only lasts up to 5 minutes in length because you don't want to lose focus on the article. You can always come back to something. But that's just a quick way to measure comprehension. And then after the next sentence I read, there's also more monitoring of comprehension that can be done. So it's especially important for those with large social media platforms such as Kirk to use their online presence to depict honest versions of themselves. So you can continue a little bit with the monitoring of comprehension by saying, what I don't understand is how we are being told to be more honest, yet no one mentions the difficulty of combating a mental illness associated with Snapchat and social media. Maybe if we keep reading, they will give us better advice for changing the way society is going and trying to alleviate mental illness from social media. So this is a bit of a prediction with the monitoring comprehension. And then we move into the last part of the article. The more we unveil photoshopped images as simple illusions, the more we can hopefully stop feeling the need to compare ourselves to unrealistic standards of beauty. Commenters on Kurik's post are voicing their support for her and the idea that we should all be more transparent. I couldn't agree more with your statement. What have we turned into? A society where everyone looks the same, proclaimed one Instagram user. I miss the old days when everyone looked different. Our untouched, flawed selves make us beautiful, unique individuals that we are. Love your transparency, responded one user. Hopefully more social media influencers will follow Kurik's example and limit their use of filters. And then for regulating comprehension and a wrap-up, I would say by the end of the article, we are given ideas towards alleviating the stress of mental health problems associated with social media. The problem is that it takes much more than an article to help people with a mental illness see that they are beautiful and don't need filters or plastic surgery. And then at that point, that's when you can open up the discussion for students to talk about the article and the way, and pretty much see what has come of your Think Aloud and what students get from you being so honest and you giving them ideas along the way to maybe spark ideas in their mind. So that is the Think Aloud for grade 10 personal safety and injury prevention.